Hi everyone, Denise Smith, and I am so glad you're joining us for our conversation today on how to avoid the pitfalls of starting a new business. And I say the pitfalls, but really I've picked 10. There are so many things that can go wrong when starting a new business if you don't plan properly. I have picked 10 of the most common ones that I've seen in working with other entrepreneurs, and so I've decided to share those with you today to hopefully help you avoid them. Before we get started, as usual, we do have a workbook that accompanies this video. So go ahead and download it. I have it right here, and I'll also put the link in the chat box. So those of you who are on chat can go ahead and download it. I do highly recommend, as always, that you download this, not only so you can follow along and take notes, but afterwards, when you're done with this video, you find a place, sit quietly, and really give it some thought, really come up with your plan, really find ways to avoid pitfalls in starting your new company. I try to keep my videos to 30 minutes or less. That way I know everyone's really busy. I share information quickly, which is why I highly recommend that you take time. I cannot say it enough. Take time afterwards, sit down, really think about it. So go ahead and do the download while we get started. So, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to go through 10 pitfalls today. Hopefully you don't run into any of these. Hopefully this will help you to avoid all of them. I'm going to try to help you succeed in getting your business started while avoiding any unnecessary setbacks that can cost you additional time and money. And I don't know about you, but I don't have additional time or money. The first one is working in your business and not on your business. So many entrepreneurs get caught up in the whole planning of running a business, the excitement of starting a new business, that they actually forget to manage their new business. And in the beginning, you will need to be involved in the daily operations. You are in the day-to-day decision making. But at some point, you're going to need to start to let go and start to actually try to grow the business. And I know that's easier said than done, the whole letting go, especially if you're a single person entity. But if you have a partner or if you have an employee, make sure you've chosen someone who you can trust, someone who has the same goals as you do, and more importantly, someone who has the same passion about your business as you do, so that you can hand off the day-to-day operations to them while you go for the global picture and you determine how you're going to grow your business. If you are a single person entity, that's okay. Most of your friends and family want you to succeed, therefore they are going to be willing to help you, a lot of times for free. I know my friends and family jumped in quite often for no pay when I started my company, and it was awesome, so thanks guys. But if you don't have the support group that I had, then come on over to the Entrepreneur Success Forum Facebook page. There are other entrepreneurs in the exact same boat you're in, and they would be more than happy to have the conversations with you to help you work through situations. Go on over there. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And when you're starting your business, you need to be organized, but not so organized that you wind up in what I call analysis paralysis. That means you need to do your research. You need to be ready to open your doors, but you don't necessarily need to have the color of your stationery picked out before you start asking for sales. Some stuff, believe it or not, can actually wait until you have started making money. At some point, you need to let the planning go and start the execution of your business. Another pitfall that I've seen bite entrepreneurs is thinking that your one area of expertise will carry your whole business. So my example here is a great website designer. You might be a great website designer, but that does not necessarily mean that you know how to run a business that sells website design. When starting a business, you need at least 3 main components. There's a lot of little things, but 3 main components that you need to pay attention to. Sales and marketing. How are you going to get the word out? How are people going to know that you have opened your doors and you are ready for business? Finance and administration. How are you going to pay your bills? Do you have enough money to pay your bills? And who's paying those bills? Is it you? Is it your partner? Is it an employee? Who is paying those bills? And lastly, operations, the day-to-day fun that goes into running your business. When setting up your business, you need to take a look at all three of these entities, and you need to, how are they going to work separately, and then how are they going to work together? Only then are you ready to start your own business. Thinking too small. A lot of entrepreneurs start their business thinking, if I could just replace my current income, I'll be fine. But is that really what you want? Did you really quit corporate America just to replace what you already have? If it is, that's great. Good luck. Nothing wrong with that. But thinking bigger, because your current income, first of all, suddenly when you left corporate America, you now have to pay more taxes. You're responsible for all of your Social Security taxes, not just half. The corporation was paying some of your taxes. So you're going to run into a little bit more finances than you thought. But secondly, does replacing your current income allow you to do everything you want to do? Does it truly allow you to be your own boss? Can you take vacations when you want? Can you work from home? Can you work from a remote location? Can you buy that brand new car you've been trying to buy for the last 6 years? If the answer is yes, that's fantastic. If the answer is no, then think bigger. Double your current income. Find a way to double your current income. Determine your profit target. Double your current income. So we'll say it's $100,000. This year I want to make $100,000 on my own. And then put a plan together. You will hear me preach again and again and again. Put a plan together and put a target date to that plan. If you want to make $100,000 this year, that's fantastic. That's really good money. But how are you going to do it? Are you going to price your products and services accordingly? But make sure that you don't price them so that you're pricing yourself right out of business at the beginning. If you have a brick and mortar, are you going to stay open longer? Are you going to be open on holidays where your competitors are closed? What is it that you are going to do in detail in order to earn that money that you want to earn this year? And don't be afraid to approach large companies. Even if you are a small company, a one-man shop, a two-man shop, or one-woman shop or two-woman shop, don't be afraid to approach large companies. Just because a company is large doesn't mean you'll be doing something for the entire company. There might just be a division within that company that needs your product or service. So don't be afraid to ask. The worst they can say is no, but at least you've tried. And lastly, don't be afraid to dream. I say dream big and dream often. After a while, your brain can't distinguish from reality or what you've been dreaming. So the more you dream it, eventually the universe is going to respond by giving it to you. So daydream away, dream big, and dream often. Another pitfall is thinking short-term or single-minded. And basically what this means is most entrepreneurs get excited because they have a sale, they have a customer, they got a contract, but that's not going to keep you in business a long time. One sale, one customer, one contract, not going to keep you in business. You want to think repeat business. So you want to show your value to your customers, because unless you sell a truly unique product or service, more than likely there's another company out there that's selling the same thing you're selling, which is fine. But you need to show your value to your current customers and to your potential customers so they bypass your competition and come to you. You need to show them that you're confident, that you are better than your competition. And aim for repeat business. It's okay to ask them if they're going to come back next month. It's okay to ask them if they're going to come back for refills when the product they just purchased is out. And don't be afraid to ask for referrals. Definitely don't be afraid. If they can't use you right now, if you have a product or service and they just don't need to purchase more right now, maybe they have a friend who would, or another coworker that would use your product or service. Don't be afraid to ask for referrals. And also don't be afraid to ask them to send you a 2-sentence email letting everyone know that they liked your product or your service. Or in today's day and age, have them whip out their phone, do a quick 15-second video as a testimony to your great product or service, and have them send it to you, and that way you can use it to get more sales. Think long-term. Think repeat business. Try not to just do one and done. as I like to call it. The next one, afraid to ask for the sale. I sigh because I cannot tell you how many entrepreneurs I've talked to when I come in to do management coaching are afraid to ask for the sale. A story I'm sure some of you have heard me tell. I go to monthly meetings. I won't say which meetings, but we all go around the room. We introduce ourselves and we tell what our business is. We each get 3 minutes to talk about ourselves. And there's one young lady, I'll change her name to protect the innocent. We'll call her Sally. Sally, we go around the table and Sally says, "Hi, I'm Sally and I sell real estate." And then she looks toward the next person for them to introduce themselves. "Sally, you just gave up 3 minutes of time. You sell real estate. That's fantastic. But do you sell new builds? Do you sell high-end real estate? What part of the city do you sell? What type of real estate do you sell? And most importantly, at the end, you need to say, and if you need a real estate agent, please contact me. Here's my business card." Don't be afraid to ask for the sale, because letting people know you're a real estate agent is only half the battle. These days, there's a lot of real estate agents out there, and there are a lot of agents that are asking for business, so you need to ask as well. But that doesn't mean that you need to be pushy, that you need to be aggressive. You need to be yourself. You're more likely to get the sale or to get someone to actually talk to you if you're genuine. If they feel that you're being genuine, more than likely they'll talk to you. They'll give you the sale if they're looking for your product or service. And if you don't ask for the sale, it is a definite no. Let me say that again. If you don't ask for the sale, it is a definite no. You are definitely not going to get that sale. I love to go to in-home shows. So I go to all types of direct sale type shows: purses, candles, scents, Tupperware. I do a lot of those, and I usually try to order, if I've been invited to a show, I'll order at least one thing to help my friend out. When I walk up to give the consultant my order form, very rarely, 9 out of 10 times, they fail to ask me if I want to purchase this month's special. Most direct sales have some type of monthly special, and I am usually on the fence as to whether or not I want it or don't want it. I'm not sure. All it would take for me to say yes and for that consultant to get more money and more sales is to ask me, "Hey, Denise, I noticed on your order form you don't have this month's promotion. Do you want to order it? It's a really great deal." More than likely, I'm going to say yes and I'm going to order it. When they don't ask me, I figure, oh, what the heck? I've saved myself some money. I didn't really need it anyway, and I move on. If you don't ask for the sale, you're definitely not going to get the sale. And if you're afraid to ask for the sale, if you're new in business, if you're not quite comfortable just yet, practice in the mirror. There's nothing wrong with that. Grab a friend or family member and have them practice with you. Have them practice asking you questions and have you answering those questions. It's not that scary. And most of the time, even if people say no, it's not a no, get out of my face. Most people will be polite about saying that they don't need your product and service. Not that scary. The next one is not fully understanding the cost of what it takes to start your new business. And let me go back to the example of a website designer. I'm a new website designer. I am a rockin' website designer. I can design the best of them. I have my thoughts, I have my skill set, and I have my PC. That is all I need. Is it really? How about, are you paying your bills this month? Are you going to do any sales and marketing? How are you letting people know that you're out there? Yes, you have the right computer, but you have the right software. There's lots of things that goes into starting a new company, and you need to really do your research. Again, come on over to the Entrepreneur Success Forum. We've got lots of resources there. If not, irs.gov, they have lists of things that you should know before you start a business. SBA, the Small Business Association, they have lists before you get started on your business. Make sure you read those lists and you understand the costs. And once you've understood the costs, I always recommend that you add 10% to that bottom line for contingencies, because when you're doing your research, there may be a widget that you want to purchase to sell as a product. And that widget, when you're doing your research, is $10. But when all is said and done, you're done with your research, you're now going to purchase it. That widget is suddenly $12. Oops, your budget is now blown. So if you add 10%, it should cover some of your contingencies. If you do really good planning, hopefully it will cover all of your contingencies, and hopefully it will give you a little bit of slush fund. And definitely overestimate the cost of the startup and underestimate how much money you're going to make. An example, I'm going to charge $50 an hour and I'm going to work 4 hours this week. So that means I get $200. No, not exactly. Of that $200, how much are you going to pay yourself? How much is going to go into taxes? How much is going to go into rent? Utilities, if you are designing websites, are you paying your electricity so that you can continue to keep your computer going? How much of that $200 has to go to other places? So definitely make sure you overestimate the cost of everything and underestimate your profit. And because I like to give statistics, I put one up here. According to the Kauffman Foundation, most first-year businesses don't make money in that first year. So when you're estimating the cost of starting up, make sure you put in there a way to pay yourself for the whole first year of your business, just in case you don't have people running to your door, just in case you don't get an income. That should go into the cost of starting your business. And the next one is kind of touchy, choosing the wrong business partner. Most people, partnering with a friend or family member sounds like a fantastic idea, but you need to make sure you love that family member. They get you great Christmas gifts, but you need to make sure that they are on the same page as you are on when it comes to your business. You need to make sure they have the same passion you have for your business. I can't tell you how many times I've heard someone say, oh, everyone's going to the beach, I want to go too. Oh, no, that's okay. Bob won't mind if I take the day off. I want to come to the beach with you guys. Well, Bob does mind because Bob has inventory that he needs to get out, and now you've taken the day off. You've put Bob in a tough position that now he has to work extra hours. So make sure you partner with someone who has the exact same goals that you do. They don't have to have the same skill set. You should complement each other. I try to hire people to my weaknesses. I'm not very good at math or accounting, I'll be honest, and so I made sure that I got someone who was really good at math and accounting. They complement me. Make sure that your partner complements you, but make sure that I cannot stress enough, have the same passion that you have for your business. If you have different levels of passion, you're going to have different levels of commitment, and you're going to run into problems. And dissolving a business relationship, especially if it's with a friend or family member, it can be really hard because not only can it leave you broke, but it can leave you with irreparable personal relationships, and that can make for really uncomfortable holiday dinners. And once you have your partner, you need to understand the roles of your team. So I'm stuttering because I've seen lots of businesses start with a handshake. And a handshake is great. It shows trust. It's fantastic. I trust you. I love you. We're going to get this done. But what that doesn't show is the breakdown of the relationship, the breakdown of the partnership. So are we going to be 50-50 partners? Are we 25-75? Who gets to make the final decisions? If we're 50-50, do we make all decisions together? Are we 60-40? Do I have a little more decision-making power than you do? Who is making the final decisions? And something that is so important, especially if you have multiple team members, more than just you and your partner, who has input to a situation and who has an actual vote. I cannot tell you how many times I have been brought into companies to talk to people because they can no longer talk to themselves, and it boiled down to someone thought they had voting ability and they didn't. They were asked for their opinion or they were asked for statistics, and that's as far as their role went. They thought that their opinion or their statistics should have been taken into account when making a decision, and they were very, very upset when it didn't happen. So who has input, who has final say, and make sure everyone knows. And another really sticky one is who has the ability to hire and fire. And this sounds easy. It's people probably rolling their eyes. It sounds easy, but who can hire and fire? Is it you? Is it your partner? Is it someone you've delegated to within your team? The last thing you want to do is come into work one day and see that your partner has hired 5 additional people that weren't in the budget, so you've just blown your budget. And to top that off, 2 of those people are people you've worked with in the past and you've said you will never work with again. Suddenly, boom, here they are in your business, blowing your budget. Who has the ability to hire and fire? Very important. And these are just some of the things that you should look at when putting a partnership together and understanding the roles. There's a lot more, but these are some of the bigger ones that I've had to deal with. And also, I always recommend that people know the difference between an employee and an independent contractor. There are financial repercussions to either, or not necessarily repercussions, but implications to having one or the other. An employee, most likely you're going to be paying for their half of the, at least Social Security taxes. So there are financials there if you're paying for their medical, dental, things like that. An independent contractor usually pays their own everything, their own taxes, their own medical, their own dental. And it might be cheaper in the long run for you to go with an independent contractor, but I caution people only because you need to make sure that that independent contractor understands your business, understands your goals, understands your passion, because you may not be their only client. If they have 2 other clients besides you, you will have to get in line when you need something done. And you need to make sure that that independent contractor is willing to put you first and get your work done. So I constantly caution on that. And here's another big one that comes back to that handshake. We trust each other. We created a handshake. We're awesome. We're good. We're going to start a company together. No. I cannot stress that enough. Please document, and it doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out document, but please document the roles of the relationship. Please document the details of the relationship. Back to, are we 50-50 partners? Are we 20-60 partners? Who hires and fires? All of this type of stuff needs to be documented. It needs to be written down. It needs to be read by all parties, 2 or more, whoever's in this business relationship with you, and it needs to be agreed to. And if not agreed to, I can't stress enough, the conversation has to take place. Don't just take the contract and throw it to the side and say, oh, he's full of baloney, I'm never going to sign that. Let Bob know why you think he's full of baloney. Make sure you negotiate a contract. Make sure you get terms and agreement that everyone can agree to and can sign on to. Vendor-client relationship, again, statement of work. Make sure you understand fully what your client wants of you if you're selling a service. Make sure you fully understand, make sure they fully understand what you're going to provide for them, and put it in paper. That way there's no scope creep. There's no, I thought you were going to pay me 50% up front and 50%, 75% into the meeting or into the project. No, I'm not paying you a dime until the entire project is done. All of that ambiguity goes away if you have it documented. So I cannot stress enough documenting it. I highly recommend paying a lawyer for an hour just to take a look at it to make sure that everything is legal. But if not, make sure you at least document it and have all parties sign it. This is a big one that I see, especially with smaller entrepreneurs, not having a business budget or not having a separate business banking. You have to make sure that your personal banking and your business banking are separated. It is so important to have your personal banking and your business banking separated. You need a separate checking account. You need a separate credit card. Potentially separate banking software, and if not separate software, because I know that can be expensive, then definitely a different file within the software. They have to be kept separately. There are tax and legal implications of having all of your money in one bucket. And the bigger and scarier thing, two things actually. One, if you happen to be sued, which I hope never happens to anyone, but if you happen to be sued and you have all of your finances in one bucket, then that person suing you could potentially take everything. They can take your house, they can take your car, they can take all of your assets because you did not have a clear division between your personal and your business. And the second is, if you have everything all in one bucket, how do you know the financial position of your business? How do you know your profit and loss? And that is very important to know the financial position of your business, because you're going to need to make decisions. Can we do more marketing and advertising next month? Do we have the money in the budget for that? We're really getting a lot of orders. Do we have the money in the budget to hire a part-time person? I don't know. It's all in one bucket. You need to have a separate business and personal banking account. Cannot stress that one enough for your own safety. And that brings us to the end. Here is the recap of the pitfalls. I'm not sure why my PC, speaking of PCs, is suddenly slowing down on me. These are the recaps of the 10 pitfalls. I know I've gone through them fairly quickly. If you have any questions, if you want more information on any of the pitfalls that I have shared with you today, go ahead and shoot me an email. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. I am so glad that you guys have joined us today for talking about avoiding the pitfalls of starting a new business. I am very excited. I hope everyone has a wonderfully terrific week and a very, very successful year. Have a great time, everyone. Come back next week for more videos when we talk about more business situations